Hello everybody. Welcome to my new playlist, Weird Ways I'm Using Blooket. I'm Madame Sensei. I teach Spanish, French, Japanese, and English language arts, and over the summer I teach Wannick Summer Health. So I'm pretty darn busy, and come talk to me at any of these places: Minecraft Teachers Lounge, Minecraft Education Ambassadors, RockSem, Duolingo Educators Network, Teacher Excellence Lounge, World Language Teachers Lounge, and now I'm a member of the Quizzes Game Changers and AI Certified Teachers, and I'm pretty excited about that too. Once again, let me refresh your memory about why I love Blooket so much. I adore Blooket. I run a game-based classroom because I feel like games keep the students more engaged, and this is just part of some of the games that Blooket offers. I just took one screenshot. I could scroll down and show you the rest, and there's two more that they've just added. There's so many games, so many different ways for the students to practice the same information. And we know, especially in world languages, the students need that drill and kill. The data that Blooket returns to me is golden, and I'm going to have a whole episode where I talk about how I'm using this data to cheese my way through. I hope my admins aren't watching. Cheese my way through our common formative assessments that we now have to give. So I'll talk about that in a later episode, but the data is absolutely beautiful. I teach a lot of different subjects, so I've organized my stuff into different folders, and I'm going to show you the weird ways that I'm using Blooket because I'm really trying to intentionally use it and think outside the box. So yeah, you could just use it as a flashcard app. At first I started using Blooket because I was looking for something better than Quizlet, and Tiny Cards had just closed, and I needed to fill that gaping hole that Duolingo Tiny Cards had left when it shuttered. And Blooket more so than fills it up. So it's a flashcard app, and I'm trying to use it a little more intentionally than that. So here I have, he's scared. Is it he is fear or he has fear? And of course in French and in Spanish, probably Italian, probably Portuguese, probably Romanian, you've got to use these idioms with to have instead of the way we say it in English. So I was using Blooket just fine, and everything was hunky-dory, and everything was wonderful, because I do love Blooket as just a flashcard thing. But there comes a time in all of our lives when suddenly the students just stop listening to us. And you're trying to deliver very important information that is going to save their lives someday, and they're just not paying attention at all. And so I thought, well, fine, you're not listening to me, but you will listen to Blooket. You will listen to this other game. You will listen to, so, how can I deliver this information in such a way that you are going to remember it? So that's what we're talking about today. And again, metacognition is thinking about your thinking. All right, getting the students to think about, okay, I'm going to choose between A and B, and why do I choose A? Okay, it could also be, why am I using this study technique? It could also be just like, what's going on in your head right now? Okay, so it's thinking about your thinking, and the more we can get the students to do this, the more we can get them to own their own education. So let me tell you about my evolution of how I started using Blooket this way. So first of all, I had all these boring workbook pages. Now, I'm one of 4 Spanish teachers in the district, and we all have to march lockstep. So we all work out of the same workbook, but the workbooks they're dry sometimes. I mean, this one's okay. All right. My French workbooks, when I was working out of a workbook in French, that's really dry. So I had to punch it up. Okay. So this is just some of the workbooks I've got on here. And, whoops, let me move this out of the way. I just took the pictures and put them in, and I've made this too big so you can't see everything. Took the pictures, put them in, put the workbook questions there, and at the time they were all multiple choice, but now Blooket has typing exercises, which is good. It adds more rigor. Okay, so here, these are just right out of the workbook. But then, I've been teaching a long time, and I can predict where the students are going to mess up. I can predict that they're going to have this one problem. And way back in the day, before our students had computers, I'd assign the workbook pages, And the students would give them back, and I would eyeball them. I'd look over them really quick, and I'd say, yep, most of them mixed up this one. Most of them misspelled this word. Most, 60% did this wrong. Okay, but you know where to look for that. And I thought, instead of me, quick targeted feedback is so important to the students. They're going to learn so much faster. So instead of me waiting until they turn in the workbook page, why don't I work through that one question with them beforehand so that they know what to expect? All right. And so as I moved all my workbook pages onto Blooket, I thought, hey, wait a minute, I should be doing this. Same thing. I should be heading them off at the pass. I should be predicting. I already know where they're going to make mistakes. Let me get them ready for those mistakes and start teaching them the metacognition that they need to avoid making those mistakes. Okay. So, for example, one mistake they always make is that they leave off the little accent on all the, como estás? They leave off both these accents, okay? They don't think it's important, and I want to show them it is important. So I've got this question, and I just duplicated it and changed the thing that it says, and then changed which one was correct, okay? So how do you say, how are you? Como estás? How do you say, do I eat these? Okay, como estás? All right. So now they're starting to think about, hey, those accents are important. And this question is going to come up if I play Gold Quest. It'll come up at least 50 times. Not 50 times. There'll be 50 different questions. And I've got 25 questions in this set. So it'll come up at least twice for them in one Gold Quest game. And we play it more than once, of course, over the course of several days. And then this one is from my French classes, my French 2 classes, where I'm teaching them passé composé. And, my little detractors don't have to be actual gotcha questions. I just want the students to start internalizing these mantras. I want them to think about this, okay? First thing you need to think about in passé composé is, does the verb take avoir, être? They have to keep asking themselves that until it gets internalized, okay? So this is just a joke. They'll get the easy point here. That's fine. That's not the issue. The issue is I want them to remember, does the verb take avoir, être? I want them to think about, is the verb irregular or normal? What's the next thing I do? Okay, so that's just the metacognition I want them to have. And here's another one for that same thing. If the verb requires être, you need to think about the subject. Okay, this is just Taylor Swift was on her Eras tour, so I thought they could think they know that lyric. Okay, but you have to think about the subject of using être. And the verbs that use être are part of la maison d'être, and I want them to think about that. And some of my students like looking at Dr. and Mrs. Vandertramp, but frankly, that's too many letters for me. So I have them think about la maison d'être, but the list is there if they need it, okay? And who cares about this stuff? I don't care. I want them thinking about this stuff. This is the metacognition. So the next thing was, I have a lot for this because there's a lot of metacognition. There's a lot of ball juggling to be able to do passé composé, okay? Next thing they always say is, oh, but I'm moving around when I eat. I'm moving around when I run. Does that count in la maison d'être? And I have to have them visualize. It's just this body physically moving around a house. And that's how you can keychain method memorization, put them all together in your head. Okay, and then I remind them what happens with adjectives. Okay, il est grand. It's not il est grande, right? Okay, and then here's the more of the adjectives. I have to remind them of that because otherwise they're not making that connection that, passé composé is basically just an adjective describing, okay? It's either something you have or something you are, and they need to think about that. So anyway, if you want to talk to me about this, help me hone this. I'm going to be making a whole Blooket list of how weird ways I'm using Blooket. Talk to me again, Minecraft Teachers Lounge or the Minecraft Education Ambassadors, Roxem, Duolingo Educators Network, Teacher Excellence Lounge, or the World Language Teacher Lounge, or the Quizzes, Game Changers, and AI Certified Teachers. Hope to see you there.